Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Friday, the third day of October 2025. Happy Friday. I hope you're all safe and healthy. I hope your families are safe and healthy, and that the needs of you and your families in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the area of health and those who are the first responders that work with them to save lives every day. Blessings upon those that pick up our garbage and keep our places clean, and those that make deliveries for us for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women that are out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children that are victims of child molestation and pedophilia. People that are helping those that are victims of prostitution, child prostitution, pornography, child pornography, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses on all the perpetrators, the profiteers, and the perverts that create demands that cause these industries to exist. Finally, double blessings on the homeless, more than 700,000 men, women, children, families, senior citizens, and military veterans homeless in the United States of America. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. There was a basketball game yesterday in Abu Dhabi, Middle East. The New York Knicks played their first preseason game against the Philadelphia 76ers, and the Knicks won 99-84. And this game was about as sloppy as you would expect the first preseason game to be, especially when the Knicks are installed with a new coach and a new offensive system. In fact, a whole new system altogether. And the stats bear that out. The Knicks shot 39% from the field, 21% from three. They had 17 turnovers, but 58 rebounds. Philly shot 35% from the field. They shot 9% from three. They had 20 turnovers and 46 rebounds. But with all that being said, and everybody pretty much, with the exception of really one player, everybody was a little off kilt yesterday. Deuce was sharp. He came in there. It looked like he picked up the offense right away. Not only did he pick up the offense right away, it looks like not only did he pick up the offense right away, it looks like he also is sharp in terms of his shot. When Mike Brown talked about turning on the Jets, Deuce McBride came to my mind because of his speed. He has one of the things he brought into the league with him was speed. He had defense already, but he brought with him a high level of speed. That is the speed to get down the floor fast. And he was doing that yesterday. And because everybody else was still in preseason mode, he was getting open looks, and not only getting them, but because of the new offense, knocking them down. So that was very encouraging as far as that's concerned, because as we saw yesterday, when you look at the stats, Deuce played 21 minutes yesterday. I think you're going to see a lot more of that. What I noticed with respect to him, and we'll get to everybody in a minute, but what I noticed with respect to him is that Brown played him with a lot of combinations. He brought him off the bench, and he had him with the regular bench crew that you would expect: Jordan Clarkson, Josh Hart, Yabusele, and then Deuce. And then they had either Karl Anthony Towns or Mitchell Robinson with them. And then that they ran, and they did very well. That second unit was dynamite yesterday, even in a off-kilt first preseason game. So that gives hope, because everybody's going to get sharper. And what Coach said yesterday, Coach Brown said, is he wants them to play faster, which they were playing fast yesterday, but not everybody. Deuce was, Mikal Bridges was, but not everybody was. It's like you got to get used to it. So it was very interesting. Yesterday, I think everybody that was available got in the game yesterday. The guy that played the least minutes, Alex Lynn played 6 minutes, Hoop Porty played 6 minutes, Jamison played 6 minutes. Those were the least. Everybody else got, let's see, Matt Ryan got 9 minutes, Josh Hart, well, he got hurt. We'll talk about that in a second. He played 7 minutes and got hurt on a non-contact injury, basically. Shamet played 17. McCullough played 12. Tyler Kolek played 11. Matthews played 10. Brogdon played 12. Everybody got in the game yesterday that was available. I did not know, and the Knicks are notorious for this. This is before the Tom Thibodeau, before the Don era, going back even to Bernard King. The Knicks organization, their medical staff, has always been two things. Number one, the best in the NBA. And number two, very secretive. Very secretive about injuries. So none of us were aware that OG Anunoby had a sprained hand until we saw Daddier starting. And so that was, when I saw the first person introduced was Daddier, I thought maybe Mitch wasn't starting. But then they introduced Mitch. And I was like, wait a minute. And then I realized it was OG that was missing. And so we didn't know that. Hopefully it's not serious. Josh Hart, I didn't know what happened. Because what I first look for when somebody goes down in the NBA is knees and Achilles. I'm looking to see if there was any knee or Achilles activity and there was none. So I was like, what happened? Or then I looked to see if he got poked in the face, because Josh gets poked in the face a lot. He didn't. So he just fell, and he was in obvious pain. So someone speculated it might be his lower back until they come out with medical today. And again, the Knicks are notorious for keeping things close to the vest in terms of medical. Now you got the Don that keeps all the moves in terms of personnel and trade close to the vest, which is where all these fools out here guessing. How they look now talking about Deuce was on the trading block? How many of the idiots that were out here talking about Deuce was on the trading block because of Brogdon? Where y'all at now? It's quiet. One of these days, people gonna stop using drugs and drinking heavy, cheap wine before they start making these content. Deuce is on the trading block. Anyway, Deuce played with the 4. He played with some of the starters. One time it was Jordan Clarkson, Deuce, Brunson with Hart. And then they had, I think it was either Mitch or Cat out there, because they kept interchanging them. And then I saw Deuce he was out there with Porty. He was out there with Shamet. It was different combinations, which again, as we alluded to earlier, he's going to be used a lot. He may start some, he may come off the bench, but whatever his position, either starting or coming off the bench, he's going to play a lot of minutes. And no, Brogdon's not taking his minutes. Brogdon yesterday played, and I think this is going to be, for him, it's going to be indicative. He played 12 minutes yesterday, and I think that's on the high side for him. He is very injury prone. And a lot of people that was out here talking about this is a game changer with Brogdon are talking about Brogdon 10 years ago. This ain't Brogdon 10 years ago. Some people need to wake up and stop tripping about has-been players. But if we could get 8 to 10 minutes of good basketball from him, and they got that yesterday, he was pretty sharp for the 12 minutes he played. If you can get 8 to 12 minutes of good basketball from him, you can get him for 72 games. Okay, if you start looking for more, he's going to get hurt. He is definitely one of the chairmen. He's on the board of directors of Anthony Ambulance University. There's no doubt about that. Okay, he is definitely, he probably will have a plaque in the hallway of Anthony Ambulance University, because this dude is a walking injury. Okay, so, but like I said, if we limit his minutes, and this is the thing, it's usually the player himself that's the last one to know his best days are behind him. It's usually the player himself. I've seen it many times. Carmelo was pretty much done when he went to Oklahoma City, but he thought, and somebody asked him about coming off the bench, and he thought it was a joke, but he was basically off the bench material at that time. And he didn't realize it. He thought it was a joke. It wasn't no joke. Okay, so he wasn't the Carmelo Anthony of when he first came to the Knicks, or of Denver when he went to Oklahoma City. From that point, he was downhill, but he was the last to know. That usually happens to players. Everybody thinks they can play, forever. Some guys are more realistic about it, but Brogdon seems to think he's starter level, and he comes in and when somebody showed me that they wrote his expectation is to play major rotation minutes, I said he can expect anything he wants. He ain't playing no major rotation minutes unless somebody's hurt, God forbid. And he definitely is not the backup point guard. Deuce is, as you saw yesterday. So, and as you're going to continue to see. So, with that in mind, like I said, if we can get 8 to 10 good minutes from him a game, which I think is the plan, that would be excellent. That would be excellent. Tyler Kolek, again, confirmed to me, he's going to be traded. There's no doubt, okay? And there might be a second trade. That's another thing that bothered me when I saw Daddy A starting. Daddy A starting, okay? I know the kid got upside. There's no doubt about it. He's got upside. Young boy, he's going to get better. And he looked pretty good. He was a little out of sorts like everybody was yesterday, but overall, he looked good. Sometimes they do that, especially in preseason when they got to make a final roster move before the last preseason game for a trade. Okay, if they was to trade Daddy A and Kolek, you would open up enough space not only to keep Shamet. I'm gonna tell you right now, Shamet played 17 minutes yesterday. That's your guy that's gonna get the open contract that's available. He's gonna get that, and the next guy is gonna be Brogdon. They're gonna keep Brogdon. I mean, he was, even with his 12 minutes, it was clear that he is sharp enough, savvy enough. He is not, you're not going to have to teach him a lot. He's seen it all. He's been around. So they're going to keep them two. So that means Kolek gone. But Porty looked real good yesterday. So I don't think they trade. I would not want them to trade him. I don't think they're going to trade him. He looked real good. He's been looking good since Summer League, honestly. For me, he's been ready since Summer League. That meniscus thing, he went out, worked his tail off, and he's back. He's ready to go. So I think they keep him. But if they can move both Kolek and Daddy A, which I hate to see Daddy A go because of the upside, you will get a couple of second-round picks, and you now can hold Alex Len if you want. Okay, because Alex Len only plays 6 minutes. And again, that's pretty indicative of what you're going to see from him. If the Knicks keep him, you get 6 good minutes out of him, 8 to 10 good minutes out of Brogdon. That's definition for depth in the NBA. Because you got players going to be playing in front of them. They're going to get some DNP-CDs. But when you need them, they'll be ready for that time. Okay, so that's what you're going to get from them. Brunson was... He was off, put it this way, off kill. He's still learning the offense. Mikal Bridges started off slow, getting beat on defense. The thing is, defensively, it's very easy to see if the Knicks are going to play high-level defense. Very easy. All you got to do is see of the opponents whose feet touch the paint. If a guy drives and his feet touch the paint, that's a bad sign. That's when you started seeing alley-oops and dunks because they were getting into the paint, and then Mitch steps up, and then guys move behind him, dunk. That's typical. Whereas the Knicks also, for their credit, when they were on offense, getting in the paint at will. I mean, that's why they was destroying them, after 3 quarters, like by 24, because they were getting in the paint at will. Okay, and so that's the key in the league. The paint. That's why Tibbs always focused on protecting the paint, which is why the Knicks would let a lot of open threes happen because they were really focused on protecting the paint. But now they move very well, and the point of attack defense with Deuce was really good. Even Brunson played good point of attack, and eventually, like I say, midway through the first, or a little bit more than that, McCall started getting. McCall's always a slow starter with these things, but he started picking up, and then he started looking good. So, point of attack defense, and we didn't even have OG yesterday, and so when you get him back, point of attack defense is going to be good. So that was good. Mitchell Robinson, and I said this before the season. Some of y'all could bear witness. I said if they keep his minutes limited, and he can play 72 games plus the playoffs, get them rings ready. Okay, get them rings ready. Because yesterday, he only played 18 minutes and had 16 rebounds, 5 on the offensive end. There was nobody on Philly that could do anything with Mitchell Robinson. And he was not fully on point yet. He wasn't. He's in shape, okay? But as far as getting in the flow of a game, he's just like everybody else. He was a little off, but I'm gonna tell you, once he gets in, he'll be ready opening night. But this is what I'm talking about: 18 minutes, 16 boards. It don't matter if Embiid was there or not. He would have just took Embiid's lunch. It wouldn't have mattered. And if he can play, and like I said, I'm talking about 24, 25 minutes a game, and you're gonna get him. I don't like him starting because of his injury history, but I do like that they limited his minutes yesterday. They limited all the starters' minutes yesterday, but I'm hoping that this continues with Mitch. I don't want to see him playing more than 25 minutes a game, but if you can keep him in that 18, 24 minutes, you're going to get 72 games out of him. 72 games of that type of Mitchell Robinson gets, just get them rings printed because we're going to take it at that point. See, he's the game changer. You know what you're going to get from Cat, okay? You know what you're going to get. He's an all-NBA player, superstar. He's going to do what he does. You know what you're going to get from Jalen Brunson, all-NBA player, superstar. He's going to do what he do. Mitchell Robinson is the wild card, okay? Mitchell Robinson is the wild card. You get 72 games of Mitch Rob doing what he did yesterday, which is what you're going to see. Just get them rings ready for us. Get that parade ready down Fifth Avenue because we're going to be taking this. We're going to be taking that's how much of a game changer he is. Deuce getting more minutes is last year he averaged 25 minutes a game. But remember, he only played 64 games last year because he had hurt his knee. I think it was in preseason. Also, I think he had an awkward landing on his foot in preseason, and he sprained his knee, and that was hampering him all year long. So if he stays healthy, which is the more likely you're gonna see healthy Deuce, he looked ready yesterday, both physically, sharpness. He was the most ready guy out there. Mitchell Robinson's a little off, and even in that state of not really fully being in the flow yet, dominant. Okay, dominant. And you're going to see more of that. So once they start feeling this offense, and they were really feeling their way through yesterday, as you would expect, it's the first preseason game. They're feeling their way through yesterday. And not only that, Brown is trying to decide who he's going to keep. That's why everybody played. Okay. Like I said, I can see Kolick being moved and maybe Daddy because he started Daddy. That's what made me. That's the first thing I saw when I saw Daddy starting. I said, "Oh shoot, they're gonna trade this kid because that's why he's starting." Anyway, somebody's got to go. If they want to keep Alex Lynn, somebody else got to go. Now they could trade Daddy and get that 2.9 and have enough money to get another player if they needed at midseason. Steve Don is always into flexibility. Always into flexibility. Playing chess means you got more than one move you can make. Okay? You got more than one counter. And if they got a counter, you got to counter to that counter. That's the Don. So he wants flexibility to be able to bring in a dude at mid-year if he needs to. He may not need to, but he wants that flexibility. And of course, we always know he's looking for value. Okay? And he gets it. Look at Mitch Rob. On a contract year that was already no big deal in the NBA. $60 million is a lot of freaking money, but I'm saying for 4 years, $60 million, you got a guy that's the best offensive rebounder in basketball, okay? And he could change a game only scoring 7 points, but getting 16 rebounds and 5 on the offensive end, and he's not in the flow yet. So, there you go. And that's why Coach said Mitch Rob was the defensive player of the game. They ain't no joke. And he mentioned Deuce, of course, because Deuce always brings it. So I would not mind sitting some of these starters if they did OG for the Saturday game. I would not mind them doing that because they just need to keep playing and practice and getting themselves sharp. Maybe, when they get back to the state side, they could, and their Knicks, because I think all of the Knicks preseason games are at the Garden. So if they playing all their games at the Garden, then, they don't have to travel nowhere. You can get sharp during that time. I guess I'm talking about Mitchell Robinson, OG, Cat, Brunson, those guys. I don't know how hurt Josh Hart is, but I mean, I was more concerned because of Josh Hart being one of the fam, and of course bringing to the table what he does. The Knicks ain't gonna skip a beat though. They got the depth. I mean, look, if Josh is hurt, right, you got Shannon, you got Brogdon, you got Diawara. If Josh is hurt, you got backup. You got McCullough. If Josh is hurt, you got backup. Okay, so they got plenty backup. They could bring in there, and if they keep Daddy, you got him too. So that's what called depth. They got that. So I hope Josh is not hurt, but I'm not worried if he is, if he's got to miss time, which is unusual for Josh to sprain something on a non-contact play in preseason. Josh is an Iron Man. It really is. He's an Iron Man type of dude. So it was a little concerning because that type of thing happens to guys. It's signs of age. It's signs your body starts to break down a little bit. And it happens to everybody. Your body starts, except LeBron, your body starts to break down a little bit. And, you start getting odd injuries. It's not unusual. And so Josh is one of those guys. He leaves it out there on the floor every night. Like I said, the finger didn't look like it affected him too much. I expected that. You're not going to get him, as long as he can run, he's going to be out there hustling, diving on the floor for loose balls, getting rebounds between players. He's going to do that. But the shooting, he's not a great shooter anyway. I mean, he's really good, as we know, going coast to coast and getting to the rack. He's really good at that, and finishing at the rack. He's really good at that. So he's going to still do that. That's not going to stop him. But let's hope that his back is okay and it's not something. But if we need to sit him, just sit him. He don't need to really play preseason, honestly. Of all the players on the Knicks, he's the one that least needs preseason. He just needs to get healthy. If we can keep him healthy, that's the key thing for us with him. Of all the players on the Knicks, nobody else can really miss games like Josh Hart can and come back and ball because of the way he plays. Charlie Hustle, so that's what it is. So anyway, first game in, you don't want to see nobody get hurt in preseason for real. If Josh Hart, we got a little injury, OG sprained hand. I hope they just keep him on the side as precautionary. Also, we don't need to see OG that much, really. We don't. So let's see what happens. But the Knicks looked good yesterday, even with all of the craziness in terms of the first preseason game and everybody being off. They looked good yesterday. So I'm looking forward to seeing every preseason game and see how they get sharper and sharper. I'm really looking forward to see what they look like when they get faster, because Brown said he wants them to play faster. That reminds me of the championship Boston Celtics from 2 years ago. They played fast, real fast. And what happened yesterday, what you saw, is a number of easy buckets. When that ball moves through the air, and it was doing that was the key thing I saw offensively yesterday. The ball was moving through the air very quickly. Everybody was pushing it, and people were getting down the floor. And you got several easy baskets. The more easy baskets you get in a game, that's indicative, along with the number of sets of 3 stops you get, of how your chances are of winning the ball game. And the Knicks got a lot of easy baskets. That was the most exciting thing offensively I saw yesterday because of the ball movement. So they're looking good. You can see the monster forming, and Brown is doing a great job at forming that monster. Everybody's working hard. The Knicks understand what's at stake this year and what they can accomplish. It's big. It's a big job, and I think they'll be ready. So I'll be taping the game tomorrow. I won't be watching it at whatever time it is, 11 or noon or whatever. But I'll be watching it later tomorrow night. But anyway, y'all enjoy your weekend. Please be safe out there. Now the Knicks are back. NBA season is here. This is the great time of year, and this is a great time to be a Knicks fan. We'll talk soon. Shalom.